continuation of the last video, continuation of the continuation. I did mention about Eve and Adam, you know, well, Adam trying to throw the rock and hide his hand when it came to Lilith. Now, and maybe Eve, you know, because she wanted the protection and provision of Adam so bad, it wasn't really love, you know. It was like, well, why, you know, because she didn't even love herself. You know, she was, you know, the lay down, not the get down or lay down type, or not the compromise type, or the equal give and take. She was just like, whatever you like, right? And so she probably, you know, caught wind of Adam kept going over there, throwing the rock and hiding his hand, and was like, what does this hoe keep going over to this woman, you know, going over this way for? He said he was going going here, but he went the opposite direction. So maybe one day she followed him to the wilderness where Lilith was, and, you know, Lilith was over there, you know, every time he went over there, no matter what he did, she kept thriving, and she grew from it and rebuilt from it and alchemized whatever BS that he was throwing. So, and she started to notice that, you know, he was invested more time into going to watch her, and like the attacks became less and less. So she started attacking and started saying, oh, this is witchcraft. Like, there's no way you can turn something into, you know, turn nothing into something. While the whole time, that's what they were doing. They were turning nothing into something. But they were turning nothing into some bullshit. You know, like, because it wasn't witchcraft, it was just straight hard work. It was your faith in, you know, her faith in belief in the Most High, and letting the Most High guide her, that, you know, led her to be able to, you know, have these, you know, these blessings start on. Because the more you follow the Most High, you know, the more you get those golden nuggets on the trail, the more you get the blessings bestowed upon you by the Most High. And you know, they just kept going. So now, you know, they're both attacking. You know, it's like I said, it's like similar to the story of the DM and DF. You know, they just kept attacking her in hopes that she would fall, and you know, she wasn't Jack nor Jill. You know, like the collective, we ain't Jack nor Jill. Damn it, we ain't gonna fall. We might stumble a little bit, but it ain't no fall to it. You know, we just, whatever lesson we learn, we don't take losses. We learn lessons, and then whatever comes of it, we alchemize that and come back and rebuild. And sometimes you gotta destroy to rebuild, right? We got sent into nothing as Lilith, and then started rebuilding our gateway to heaven, or our ladder to heaven, understand being an overachiever, whatever, and being able to do things at a, being really efficient at your job, but even still, it's just not something that, people need to be doing with their spare time. Like, yes, I'm on the job, like, find out how to get more efficient at the job and find out, like, there's so much, all I'm saying is there's so many other things you could do that is not damaging to your brain cells. That's all I'm saying. Then looking at someone else, and that's how I feel like, all the way from Adam and Eve, the world turned into what it is, or what it's turning away from now, right? People are starting to realize, like, all you need is for, a home, the people you love, and actual love. And even meaningful connection. You know, instead of becoming an unnecessary person in somebody else's life, you're only there to cause confusion, chaos, and cause their, you know, whatever house you're attacking at the time to be dirty and need some cleansing, to be a little dusty. You know, you decided to be a damn dust bunny. So, yeah, instead of being, you know, a legendary people, you know, you decided to be a unnecessary people. You know, and that's the difference between people and human. You know, like, where is your trajectory? People, they're on a south node trajectory, right? Typically, humans usually northbound. Yeah, I'll say northbound for humans, southbound for, or neutral, stagnant for people. You know, and they just want to stay there. They're complacent. You know, they're unnecessary people. Anyways, but I mean, the whole thing is to try to discourage people from, and we're not trying to force it on people. That's the whole thing. It's like where people get it twisted. We're not trying to force things on anyone. That would be the South Node people that want to force views and things on it. We're gonna say what we need to say, and we're gonna keep it moving. You know, like Christ. You know, it's like we said, we helped who we helped. You know, and people eventually, time tells. Time always tells. It's like it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Time, even if it doesn't happen in a time that's desired by you or anyone else, you know, and like our ancestors, they wanted the change, right? Some of them, like, and some of them fought and died, you know, and they had to die, and that was a sacrifice, right? And that turn on the AC in case it might be too loud. I hope I didn't do this long of a video, this much of the video, and y'all couldn't hear me. So, you know, it had to jump, you know, I had to go into a different timeline. It was a to be continued, and like, you know, and then these karmics who attached to our ancestors jump timeline to timeline to timeline, to try to keep up with us and keep on that, you know, drag us down to this wavelength, because as high as your good is, that's how low your evil can be as well. Both can be equally as powerful. So as good as your thoughts are, and good as you can also sink just that far low, if that makes sense. And that is I guess the struggle of wavelength. You know, the whole life journey, the life purpose, and everything like that. Just try not to, you know, deciding which way you're gonna go. You know, how low can you go? You want to limbo, or you want to, you know, ascend? You know, just it's really a matter of what you're placing your faith in. You know, are you placing your faith in yourself, or are you placing your faith in people, the, you know, demonic entities, materials, you know, getting attention, or whatever low frequency type thing? Or are you just like, all I need and all I have is me and the Most High? You know, at the end of the day, no matter how many people surround you, you know, that's at the end of the day, that's all you have. No matter how low you sink, you can sink to the lowest of lows. I mean, the lessons are going to be harsh. They're going to be like crazy. There will be pain. You know, it will rain. There will be pain. Troubles will come. Understand, counting on joy. The morning will come, the sun will shine. Keep your head up high. And, you know, or we can go Tupac, keep your head up. You know, like, go either way. A rose that grew from concrete. So if you want to bury yourself in negative energy, then do that by yourself. You know, like, because when you include other people, try to force other people, blackmail, and putting them in situations where they need you, and all kinds of dumb shit like that, that's going to add on to your negative energy, because it's not just your energy anymore. It's your person and that person's energy. So it's not even clear, you know, demonic energy anymore. It's your energy, and you're getting buried in other people's energy. Now imagine, you know, like you're a mass manipulator, like you're a Charles Manson or Jim Jones or something, drinking the Kool-Aid and all that shit. You know, that's a lot of energy to have to, like, come back from, have to transmute it and come off of bad karma. You know, it's a whole lot of karmic debt to settle. But you decided to pile that shit on yourself, right? So, and you also have to watch that, of course, if you're on your North Node journey, because you can help somebody and then, you take on some of their karma. And there, if you're in your North Node, there's going to be clear indicators that you need to get away from this person. You need to stop helping them expeditiously. And yeah. And, I feel like, these times, like a lot of the collective that's what we're living now. This the journey of Jesus, Adam and Eve. Is like the whole biblical times, all that. And, structures are falling and it's like starting over again. We're going back to Genesis, people. And not just the one man, one woman. We're way past. I mean, it can happen. I mean, who knows? But because it's such a big world, they said, that was how the Bible started. One man, woman, and woman, Adam and Eve, right? But it was also man, rich. So you had to, use your discernment. You gotta chew the meat, spit out the bones, man. And as people take a lot of it literally, but it's more like how you are able to see it through your spiritual eyes. That's the whole point of it. It's your spiritual eyes that tell you the weight of the matter, the gravity of the matter, maybe even the truth of the matter. So let's see. Yeah, I'm home free now on this one. I think there's more traffic. There's more red. And yeah, I think that's really. I think this is a good place to leave it. You just decide where you want to go on this wavelength, how high, how low, and like I have, wondered from time to time, like, hey, maybe people get bored with everything being good, but it's like, how can you when there's always, because somebody did kind of ask that question. It's like, would you get bored in the land of milk and honey, right? And I feel like as long as there's a south node wavelength, there's always going to be challenges. So it's kind of like getting bored kind of like isn't an option on either wavelength. And it's just like on the south, the whole thing is there's always going to be something. I feel like there's always going to be some level of challenge, new levels, different devils, and that's really what it is. It's like that's a real thing. Like what used to trigger you, oh, guess what? You got a new trigger here, and this is a more emotionally intelligent trigger or a more intelligent overall trigger, this so on and so forth. But yeah, I think this is a good place. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'll be back on with another video. And I'm working. The reason I even started doing videos in the first place was to work on my delivery, my speech, because I've always been a strong writer. So backstory, my grandmother on my dad's side had me, knew I was a great writer. I don't know how old I was. I was very young. I think it had to be elementary or middle school. And she had me write a letter to the judge to keep someone in jail. I didn't know the exact, just understood from what they were allowing me to understand, the information they gave me. What I understood is that the person who had unalived my uncle, which was her son, her older son, they wanted to keep him in jail. So okay, out of the pure intention of my heart, and knowing this person did not need to be back out of jail, they need to keep serving that time, right? No telling. I didn't know any backstory. I was a child. She had me write a letter, and that it actually worked. And like a few years later, I hear that he's getting out, but they didn't ask me to write the letter that time. So yeah, kind of it makes me wonder, because I don't know the dude's name or anything like that. It's just I was a child, so it could be part of the story that's continuing now. I just you just never know, because like the whole time I was going through all my nonsense with all these karmics, they were definitely constantly trying to get me put in jail by constantly having people going in before I got there, spreading some gossip and some bullshit, walking out, and then coming in again while I was there yelling and screaming, and then stayed around after, spread some more. They were around the clock with it, like just pitiful. And what's that? trying to force me. They were sitting there sabotaging. When I started living in my trailer, they were draining the propane from my tank. They were threatening to steal it, knowing that that's all I had to live in, and like putting nails in front of my tires, making sure, because they knew I was always rushing to work or something, putting nails in front of my tires, you know. And it was like, this is all the shit I know how to fix. And you know, propane, you know, is pricey, but you know, at the same time, it's just like, I'm not a heater, natural heat or cooling type person. I'm more of a nature, you know, like I'll put on an extra blanket or something. But anyway, it's besides the point. You know, at every turn, and then they stole my generator off the